All right, welcome everybody to our home renovation webinar. Tonight we have a very special guest with us, our renovation leader, Pete Ferrara, loan officer extraordinaire from Lockport, Illinois. Pete's been doing renovation loans for probably about 20 years or longer. Done well over 500 renovation loans. As a team, we've done well over 10,000 loans, and Pete is our renovation leader and expert. So, without further ado, I'm going to have Pete take us down the road, teach us what he knows, a little bit about what he knows about renovation lending. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. We'll stop along the way and get those questions answered. And looking forward to learn lots about renovation lending. So, Pete, take it away.
Excellent. Thanks, Juan, for the intro. Remember, everybody, we have people from looks like all over the country, which is excellent. We're licensed in 46 states, I think now, Juan. So we can help do renovation pretty much anywhere in the country. I know we've invited multiple metro areas. So important to ask questions. We'll have a few stopping points here. Hopefully you get a lot out of this. And again, this is being recorded, so you can listen back to this at another time, but please ask questions. So with that, we're going to jump right in, and we're here to talk about how you can turn any home into a dream home. So we will show you how to do that. It's not as difficult as everyone thinks. So look, the market is tough right now. So we have some simple, basically rhetorical questions here. Are you depressed because you can't find the perfect home? Do you have buyer fatigue? Looking for homes that just don't fit your needs. And we're going to talk a little bit about that you love the area and there's just a couple things you don't like about the home. No worries. We will solve your problems. Tired of waiting for the perfect home in the neighborhood you want to live in. No longer do you have to do that. And anxious, look, there's sometimes you've outgrown your home. Your family has grown, or there's circumstances where you have to take in another family member. We do have a solution for you. So, and if you're uncertain if you could renovate, your current home you already own, not a lot of folks, in these tough times have that extra 150,000 laying around. We can help you with that. So, we're gonna try to cover as much as we can here. Renovation, financing step by step, how you can benefit from a renovation loan. The big key is this: we believe that real estate is local. Most everyone knows where they want to live. And so with this product, you can save a lot of time. You can look at less homes. You're not forced to look at homes in areas you may not want to move to, and expand your geographic search. You can find a home right where you want it to be in that school district, in that town, close to family. The cool thing about this product is this: you can put in offers, you could view and put in offers on any property in any condition. So that's one key takeaway. Remember this: any property, any condition. You can bid on foreclosures. Lots of folks ask that question. Can I put an offer on foreclosures? Absolutely. Auction sales, estate sales, that's a big market. Estate sales where the property is dated. You can put in that offer. Properties that are advertised cash only, as is, or needs work, or all those buzzwords like it needs a little TLC. This is the solution for that property. Here's a cool thing about this product. If you find a home that needs a complete makeover, right? You can build that into this loan program, and you can gain the instant equity instead of you buying a home that's already been been renovated by a flipper, right? So somebody that just bought it recently, did all the renovations, going to resell it to you. You can do the same thing with this program, and you can have that instant equity at the end of the project. So a renovation loan gives you that perfect opportunity to create your home of your dreams because you are the person that determines what those finishes are going to look like. So that's the cool thing. Instead of buying a home that's already fully renovated, you know, there while that home can be nicely renovated, we're not doubting that. Well, the kitchen features or I should say finishes may not be exactly what you want. Same for bath, same for flooring, those minor details. This gives you complete control of that. So now let's get right into what the common mistakes are. So mistake number one, settling for a home you don't like because you feel you don't have any other choice. And this is happening a lot out there with the low inventory and high competition. You know, you just feel like you have to settle for a home that is already move-in ready and, you know, you just need somewhere to go. Well, this expands this inventory that you can put in offers in. Okay. So we already mentioned about the instant equity because you are going to have your contractor do the renovation. You're not paying a flipper or a reseller of the property. You're going to gain that instant equity. Okay. So they say the riches are in the niches. This is a niche product that we do very well. So here's some stuff that you want to know about this program. Everyone loves watching the DIY shows. You know, HGTV gone wild, as Juan would say. This is what it's all about, right? We all watch those shows and we're amazed at what that home looked like from the start and what it looked like after the fact. So there's some things you can do here to the property if you want to modernize the home. So we call that a cosmetic rehab. You know, refresh the kitchen, baths, flooring, all that. Foreclosures, right? Almost all the foreclosures out there need some type of repairs. The seller, the bank is not going to do any of those repairs for you. So you can build it into this loan. Here's a really cool one, and I think we'll have a slide at the end. Additions, home additions. So you outgrow the property, or you find a property that's only 2 or 3 bedrooms and you need 4 bedrooms, right? You can do what's called a roof tear off, or you can go out in the property and expand for there. So you can add square footage. Super, super neat feature of this loan. Structural repairs. So sometimes you run into properties that have some issues. The most common one, I guess, in our area would be a foundation issue. You could take care of all of that in this loan. The last one here is an interesting one that, you know, as the population is growing older, right? There's a need for modifications for disability, right? You find a home, you need some stuff lowered, like the electric, for light switches, you need ramps, special baths. I had a personal client that we helped do this with. They needed a bathtub that can open up with a door and they could roll in there and it was bigger. And as far as that goes, the doors all need to be widened, right? Because they're not standard. I mean, Juan knows, I don't know what the normal doors were, 32 inches, 30 to 32 versus those commercial 36-inch that would accommodate wheelchairs. So this is a great program to do those improvements to modify a property. So here's just a couple before and after pictures. You can see the top one here, exterior. We haven't talked about exterior modifications yet. You can change the entire look of a home in this. The one here on the kitchen, just a simple kitchen refresh. That's an easy one to do. Same as the living space here. You don't like that old river rock on the wall that used to be popular. I think it was the 70s one. It may be coming back here eventually, but for the meantime, the style on the right would probably be more like what somebody's looking for. So So with these loans, the one important thing to mention is, and I get this question all the time, like, how do we do this loan? Do I buy the property and then you give me this other renovation loan? The renovation loan is the loan. The neat thing is this, it is one loan. There aren't two loans to pay for. You put it all in one. We combine the purchase price plus the amount of the renovations all into one, and you put your down payment against that total. The great thing about this program, we talk about it all the time when we have these presentations, is don't put the renovation money on credit cards. The credit card rates, I don't even know what they're up to. I heard they're high 20s. So the interest rates are approaching 30%. It is an astronomical number. So not a smart thing to do is to put it on a card. Do this loan instead. You will be much happier for it, and you can build in more dollars. So we just talked about it here. The interest rates, what they are. They're 24.62% versus an APR of 7.75. And good news, folks, that is coming down here, weekly and monthly. So it'll be better than that. But still an overall great deal in comparison. So here you go. Here's a little fun math. If you were to borrow 50,000 and put it on a credit card, what your interest would be on the revolving debt versus that 3,875 if you financed it with a renovation loan. Real dollars, folks. So let's talk about what you can do if you had to do a renovation, right? So what are your options, right? This home needs work. One, the first few are what we can offer. So we do what's called the FHA 203k limited. That encompasses renovation up to $75,000 in total work. The FHA 203k standard. So that encompasses budgets above and including that 75,000 all the way up to the FHA loan limits, which is approaching 500,000 on a single family home, and then even greater than that on a 2, 3, and 4 unit. 4 unit, you're over $1 million in total loan amount you can do. Fannie Mae Homestyle, so that is the conventional renovation loan. So those loan limits are in the 800,000 up to almost $1.5 million that you can do and combine purchase plus renovation. VA renovation. We do offer a VA renovation loan that is a little bit limited, $50,000 in total budget that we can use in renovation. And then if you don't utilize these loans, obviously you would have to have sweat equity. So that's the do-it-yourself stuff. That takes forever to do a renovation. You'd probably take years instead of months to complete your project. There are some nonprofit grants, for low to moderate income housing. Those do exist out there for some municipalities. We don't offer those. We do the lending product. And then there are some contractor construction loans that they can offer to you, which are going to be relatively short-term products. And then those will convert to high interest installment loans, much higher than what we're offering, at least double the interest rate. So here's an actual project that one of our contractors completed for a client. You can see that the kitchen needed some refreshing. While it was probably functional, everything was probably in working order. Just a little bit dated. The client did it to today's modernization. You can see on the right. So that's one simple example of what can be done with this program. So here, let's go on to mistake number 2. Not knowing what type of work can be financed. I love this one because there really is almost no limit to what can be financed in this type of product. So I'm going to talk to you about the 2 FHA products, the one that's called the limited and the standard. There's just a couple differences. The limited, as we mentioned, only covers up to $75,000 in renovations, and you cannot have any structural repairs included in there. There's no minimum repair amount, so this is perfect. If there's something that doesn't pass inspection or an appraisal issue, this can help cover that. The beautiful part is you can do this on a single family condominium up to 4 unit building. Perfect opportunity to grab a 3 or 4 unit and get that building cash flowing and modernize it and get those high market rents. Because we all know that rents are increasing the same as what housing prices are. So you might as well gain your instant equity and get some cash flow along the way. FHA has a kind of a cool feature that you can borrow up to, just in this loan product alone, you can borrow up to 110% of the appraised value. The appraised value is the after repaired value of the property. So if the property appraises for 300,000, we can use $330,000 as that 110% value. We can lend 96.5% of that 330,000. So having said that, you could squeeze in some extra renovations. If it's a property you really want, we can make it happen, and you can go above that value without having to dig into your pocket. Okay. Typically these smaller renovation ones, the home has to be habitable. So you're not going to do a $50,000 renovation when the home needs everything and it's not habitable. There is no HUD consultant required. We'll talk a little bit about that later, what the HUD consultant does. So this is typically used for your smaller project, and even a kitchen remodel or bath remodel, updating some appliances. You can do mold, lead remediation on that. So the standard product, that one we talked about, can go all the way up to the FHA loan limits. There is a $5,000 minimum repair amount, same up to 4 units. The same loan to value applies here. The property does not have to be habitable. So you can find a property that hasn't been lived in a couple years. It's just completely gutted out, or it needs to be fully gutted out. There's mold in the property, there's standing water, not a problem. You can use this program to fix all of that. Structural foundation, and we talked about even doing an addition. So let's talk a little bit about the VA renovation. I think we already talked about $50,000 maximum, non-structural stuff only. And then we could do this one allows 100% financing up to the after repaired or as completed appraisal. Up to 4 units on this one as well. This is a great program for, if you're a veteran or your spouse is a veteran, 100% financing on this one. There are some VA grant options out there. We just wanted to make folks aware of some of those, if you're able to get some of that money as well. Talk about the conventional loans that we do offer. So similar to FHA, just a little bit different in loan amounts. Owner occupied. We can do so in this one, where FHA does not allow for an investor. We can do a single family home for an investor. So kind of a neat program that if you do find a single family home that needs some work to it, we can help you get those renovation monies to fix that single family home. Now, this program is meant for somebody that's going to be an investor and hold on to that property, so not resell it. So that's kind of the only caveat on there. We already talked about value is based on after repaired or after improved value, so called a subject to appraisal, both in the FHA, the VA, and conventional. Same requirement, a HUD consultant is required for anything above the $75,000 threshold. And this can pretty much be used for any repairs you can think of, updates, new kitchen, new baths, even outdoor spaces, as long as the appraised value, after repaired appraised value is there. So here you can, here's another project that was done. The kitchen was a little bit old and outdated. I believe they even on this project kept the flooring, maybe cleaned it up a little bit, and just modernized the kitchen. So you can do projects like this. Mistake number 3, not doing a renovation loan because you think it's too hard or complicated. That simply isn't true. What we found is that most people don't do a renovation loan. One, because they don't know it exists. Two, it's because their current lender they're working with talks them out of it simply just because they don't offer that product. So it's not any more complicated or harder than a regular loan. So let's go through kind of how it works in terms of I guess we'll say process. So initial steps and loan inquiry, that's where you would talk to someone on our team, to work on getting that pre-approval, right? Project discussion. So you want to know there's a couple things you need to know here. You want to know approximately how much it's going to take to fix the property to your specifications, and then also approximately what the value is going to be. This is where you would work hand in hand with your real estate agent to understand that if you put $100,000 into this property, what's the approximate value on a fixed up house? And because that's what numbers we need to use to put into the loan. So you don't want to be short on that. Contractors and consultants. So the contractor piece, I get this question a lot. The borrower selects the contractor. So we don't guide you to a contractor of our liking or choosing. You find the contractor, small or large project equally. That's up to you to get a contract. We will vet the contractor, make sure that they have the proper licensing, proper insurance, and have a couple references and gather the paperwork. Okay. The consultant. So if it's over that $75,000 project amount, we will direct you to a HUD consultant if it's needed. So the HUD consultant, let's talk a little bit about what they do. There's a couple things that they do. First, they would do an upfront project scope. So they would come out to the property. They would ask you, what do you want to do to this property? They will build a detailed list with cost, and the cost will be broken down into labor and materials. So you'll know that if you wanted to do these 10 items, that these 10 items are going to cost $64,870. And it will be broken down into 35 different separate line items as applicable. So at the end of the day, after that, once we have that detailed project list with cost of material, we can order an appraisal, because that appraisal, it's important to know that that project cost and scope is going to be used by the appraiser to determine which comparables best fit that property. So, and that's how they give us this as completed value. So once we have that appraisal comes back, the loan is approved and it closes. So I get this question a lot. Well, what happens to that $100,000 in renovation funds? Well, the lender is going to hold those funds and disperse those funds as the project is being completed. We want to protect you as you go along the project. We don't want to disperse all the money to the contractor, and then there's a falling out and there's not enough money to finish the project. So it is dispersed as the project gets completed. So here, don't limit yourself, we always say, on how the home currently looks, because you can change that, as evidenced by this home right here. They reimagined the whole exterior of the home. So you can do all kinds of stuff to the exterior. let's talk a little bit about how you would qualify for a renovation loan. Okay. Here is another key takeaway. The great part about these loan products, the FHA, the VA, and the conventional one alike, you qualify the same as if you were qualifying for a regular FHA, conventional, or VA loan. There's no extra qualifications. So the nice thing is, if you qualify for $400,000 in an FHA or conventional loan, guess what? You qualify for a $400,000 FHA renovation loan or conventional renovation. Okay. We already talked about it. It's the great program. It's one loan, combines the purchase price plus the renovations all into one loan. And that down payment, important to know, it's just based on that total amount. So, if you have $100,000 property, $100,000 renovation, 200,000, and you do of an FHA loan, your down payment would be 3.5% of $200,000. Okay, that's the math behind that. Down payment options, again, they're the same here as as a regular loan. FHA 3.5%. Conventional, as low as 5%. There's actually a 3% option if you fall into certain income limits. Second home, you can do a 10% down payment renovation loan, and investment as low as 15%, but typically 20% on the investment product. Conventional only on that. So, all right, here we are to one of our stopping points here for some questions that the group might have. Do we have one? I guess
Yeah, we've got a couple questions that have come in so far, Pete. Before I get to that, I want to remind everybody that they can set up a one-on-one appointment with you on your calendar. Every situation's a little bit different, so I encourage everybody to set up a one-on-one appointment. In the chat, I have placed the registration link. All you need to do is click on the link in the chat, and that'll take you to Pete's calendar. Get booked on there. There's no cost, there's no obligation. It's a great place to get started. So check out the link in the chat and schedule your appointment.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for mentioning that, because we can go through some specific details then on some properties that once you book that calendar link. So we encourage everyone to go to that and book a time. So what do we have, Juan? I love some good questions.
So question number one is, can I use this loan on a property that is in really bad condition?
Yes. So I love this because it blows my mind that somebody gets out there, looks at a property, and they're like, gosh, this property it needs everything. There's not even a working kitchen or working bathroom. The one phrase I guess I would refer back to, if you walk in the house and you look up and you can see the sky through the ceiling, we can do that loan. We can fix it all. So there is no condition that cannot be cured with this loan. Even the interesting one, I'm glad you brought that one up. That was a great question. We see this a lot, even city violations. So if the property had City of Chicago pages of those violations, and we've seen them before, as long as we include it in here, this is the right program for you. Great question, Juan.
Awesome. Okay.
So who else?
Next question on The Price is Right is, can I add on to the home?
Yeah, and we touched a little bit about it a little bit earlier, that you can do additions. So, and I guess I want to just mention one thing. You just need to make sure that your municipality allows for it, right? There's height restrictions some places, correct, Juan? There's
That is correct.
some you want to do 4 stories they might limit you into your the total roof height, I think, in some places. And then some other places might have that limitation. How much can you go out or back or out on, depending on like city lot sizes. The cool thing is you can go up, rip the roof off, and you can go out. And I think we're going to have a great slide that will demonstrate that. So great question. You can add the square footage, bottom line, this. So we'll show an example of that.
Okay. So, guys, keep sending me your questions, and as we pause, we'll get those questions answered for you. Lots of great information going on here, Pete.
That it for now. We can.
Let's let me bear with me,
I
and
know
I've
there'll
got
be another question session a little bit later.
yeah. Let's keep going.
All right. Excellent. So mistake number 4. So, and I think we touched a little bit about this, that this renovation financing is only for these large rehabs. You gotta just almost tear down the house and redo it all. That is simply not true. This program is great for touching up spaces, right? And here we go. Some side by side stuff like the what do we have? The Brady Bunch kitchen colors here. Just simply updating cabinetry, countertop, floorings. You can do it. Bathrooms are super popular in updates. This one on the right is super interesting to me because they really didn't do a lot to it. They didn't like the carpeting, the trim. So I could see the window trim change that. They might have switched out windows here, and they took the carpet out and just put some nice hardwood flooring. So you could simply, modernize the space to you and your family's needs. That's a perfect project that somebody probably would have walked away from that home and said, "Ah, gosh, I love it. I love the neighborhood. I love the school district. I love the style of the house, but I hate the windows. I hate the trim. I hate the flooring." Well, bingo. Here you go. We can do it. So we'll talk about back to a little bit about what repairs can be and can't be included. I think we've talked a little about this. The structural alterations and additions are allowed. We didn't talk about this next one here because this is an interesting one. I personally did a couple projects, city projects in Chicago. So we're in Chicago. I know some of you folks are from other parts of the country. We have a lot of detached garages, okay? And we've had folks that, that garage was just beat up and it needed to be torn down. You can build a new garage. So a new detached garage with this. So that is a neat feature of this. We talked about remodeling kitchens and bathrooms. You can do energy conservation improvements. All kinds of stuff out there now for some heating stuff, geothermal stuff. You can include all this type of stuff. I get this question a lot. What about simple stuff like painting? Painting isn't as inexpensive or cheap as it used to be, right, Juan? To paint. I mean, gosh, if you were to paint some of these homes with their exterior, if they had that cedar or some type of wood, it will blow your mind in how much it costs to paint interior and exterior and trim. So you can include that in there. Plumbing, heating, and air. We get this a lot. Converting over from a boiler system to regular forced air heating system, or just replacing that heating and air system. Roofing is a huge one that you can replace the roof, downspouts, gutters, fascia, soffit, that whole system. We get that a lot here with our wonderful weather here in the Chicagoland area. The roofs get beat up with hail, wind, and all that. Flooring, tile, carpet. We just showed you an example of that. Landscaping. I don't think we talked about that. You can beautify the exterior of the home just as long as the repairs fit to the budget, which fit into the end appraised value. We can fit all that in there. There's a couple items here like like the pool, I want to talk a little bit about that. If you want to install a new pool, you can do that with the conventional loan. With FHA, that is only one of the items that they exclude. You can fix a swimming pool, but you cannot install a new swimming pool. So that's just one little difference from FHA to conventional. But otherwise, the one thing I did want to talk about, a lot of folks have this misconception that you cannot do luxury items with this renovation loan. Not true. You can do as high end of countertops, flooring, cabinetries that you can ever imagine. You can do that in this loan. It's not limited to budget, budget fixtures, finishes. So keep that in mind. The sky's the limit in what you wanna beautify your home with. So here, this one's a great one. It's a simple. They didn't change anything to it, but gosh, look at the condition of the exterior here with that siding, the garage door, just a little bit clean up on the exterior in general. And they changed they changed the roof line a little bit to make it, nicer. But gosh, I think even the windows might have already been there in place, but just a neat thing. I think they added some fencing here, but cleaned it up. This is something you could do to a home that probably, would cost a pretty decent buck if you tried to do this over time on your own. You're going to need to save a few dollars to do it, where you could include that right up front, and you'd make the home look beautiful right up front.
And don't forget, Pete, there's a certain value to just being able to get it done, move in, and enjoy the property.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Like you can take your time and do all the renovations, and gosh, the months go by and the years go by. You're like, well, this renovation's like a 10-year in the making. Whereas you could do this in a few short months. And like Juan said, enjoy the property with your friends, family. You're going to get the value out of it because that equity will be there. You do the right renovation. We talked a little bit about exterior. This one, look, while it wasn't a whole bunch done, I mean, it looks fantastic, as opposed to what it looked like in the before. Somebody would be proud to walk up to this, and they're probably, if a family member had walked in on the left, they'd kind of be embarrassed to walk up to the front door. But they did a nice, neat, clean job, and they got it done within this renovation loan. And they might have done. It looks like they did some exterior stuff, some windows on the front, and maybe some roofing stuff, and cleaned it up. But this is just an example of beautifying the exterior. Here is a kitchen update. One of our contractors had done just a simple update. Again, I think they kept the flooring on this one and just modernized the kitchen. Appliances. I think we had that in there. You can include appliances in there. They did some cabinetry and some countertops, changed up the island a little bit. So a simple upgrade that you could do right up front in the project, and I think doors and trim. So we have another stopping point with some questions and answers. Hopefully we're getting some good information and value with that. Juan, what do we have for questions? I think you're muted.
Careful, we're getting a little bit of momentum. The train is moving. Question number 3. I heard that it's difficult to close this type of deal and that the contractors have to be approved by the government. Is that true?
Ooh, I want to know who asked that question.
Very
But
smart guy.
very smart person. It's interesting. So they're not the contractor does not have to be approved by the government. We get that by that misconception of some lenders trying to talk people out of this program, where they said, well, you don't want to do this because you got to go through contractor approval process. I talked about, I think a few slides ago that you choose your own contractor, right? So, and I think the first part of this was you heard it was really difficult to close the deal, correct?
Correct.
And that is simply not true. The loan process is all the same. Just the renovation piece is separate, but included in the loan. We have a whole team that handles that contractor piece for you. All you have to do is select the scope of work in the contractor. We help you through that whole process. So we don't want anyone to be afraid of this type of program. It certainly was never intended to be that way. This program was intended to help homeowners get into properties, beautify them, and gain that instant equity. Any other questions, Juan?
Next question. Next question is, can I use this loan to fix any inspection issues or appraisal issues that may come up?
Yeah, so um yeah, this is a great one because I guess we like to call our team on the rescue team. We have had a bunch of rescue loans, and let me explain to you what could happen out there. And I'll tell you, I really hate when this happens to a client. They go in and they find this house and they're in love with it, and they go through it and they get a home inspector, right? And we always say, and we're not telling anyone not to get a home inspector. We know that that's important, but a home inspector is there to try to point out anything and everything they see in the house, whether they think it's a huge item or a minor item. They're there to overwhelm you in all these items. Now, they're going to send you this huge inspection list. And some of the items might be worthy of getting repaired. And that's where we say, don't cancel the contract. We've seen it a lot that people will cancel the contract. The real estate agents say, well, just cancel the contract because the seller isn't going to fix everything. And some of them are minor. We say, not a problem. Let's just get a bid for what these small items are going to be and include it in a renovation loan, close the deal, fix those items, and be happy with you found a great property and all those items will be taken care of. Now, the second piece is, I think I heard you say appraisal. So you do an appraisal, especially on FHAs, once in a while, come up with stuff that an appraiser points out that might not meet what they call FHA minimum property standards. Those items are required to be repaired before the closing by the seller, or you can convert it to a renovation loan. So might get the best of both worlds. You can get a credit from the seller, and we could show you how to do that, how to negotiate, get a credit from the seller, negotiate with your real estate agent, and then you can include these items in a renovation loan and still get the house you wanted. So great question. Glad you brought that up. We can save those deals with this loan.
Nice. So we'll take one more question during this break,
Okay.
and then move forward. And then I want to try something here, Pete. Before I do that, I'm going to try to share something up from my screen.
Okay.
Bear with 1 second. Hopefully, you're able to see that.
Not
You
able
able?
to see it. So
No.
do I have to?
No, so I wanted to share the calendar link for everybody, that will
We'll have
get you
it
to
on
Pete's
another
calendar.
screen.
Yeah, we'll put that up on another screen.
Okay.
So Pete, maybe you can copy the link from the chat and put it up. But anyways, question number 5 is, do I have to pay up front? Do I have to pay up front for this loan? What do I
Oh,
have to pay up front?
yeah. So on a regular loan, you typically would pay for an appraisal fee. Same with this loan. There will be an appraisal fee, depending on what the property is, single family up to 4 unit. The only other thing you would have to pay up front in advance that you can get reimbursed for is the HUD Consultant fee. So I just want everyone to know and be aware that one would need, it's a third party, you would pay that particular fee, and you can have it reimbursed within the loan once it closes. So it's just those two items. Everything else is your standard closing cost and your down payment. So there's no real difference. The only difference in this loan is that potential HUD consultant fee. So we'll move on to the contractor piece. I do want to stress a couple things here. It's really important to try to find a contractor you know, like, and trust. If you don't know any contractors, we want you to find somebody you like and trust. So you should ask for referrals. You can get referrals from the real estate agent you're working with. We also have, through the HUD consultants we work with, they're able to provide some contractors that have already been vetted, which is awesome because we already know that they have passed the test. They've done renovation deals and they know the expectation, and they've completed projects successfully. So really important that you choose a good contractor. I think I may have mentioned this earlier on the contractor. We do all the vetting, so we'll need the following documents. The nice thing is you do not have to go to your contractor and ask them for their license, liability insurance. Well, I mean, I take that back. You can, you want to make sure they are, but with us, you're going to know that's covered already. No worries. We collect. If they need the licensing, we collect it. Liability insurance is a must. That's 100%. We do get references from them. If the project is large, we try to verify some type of financial stability, that they have some lines of credit to cover some materials so that they can keep the job moving. They are required to put together a detailed bid that is broken down by labor and material. We do show them how to do that if they're unsure. Oh, one last thing. For FHA financing, the contractor cannot be an interested party, so they should not be a relative, or they shouldn't be related or be the seller of the property. With conventional, you can actually have a relative, your brother, father, cousin, you can have that. With FHA, you can have a good friend be the contractor, not an issue there, but just can't be directly related or an interested party. HUD consultant, here's the fee we were talking about. If it's required, and again, this could be financed into the end loan and will be reimbursed to you after the closing. But these are the fees that have been set actually by HUD. So here they are, up to, the standard project. So 85 to 140,000, that's $1,400. And these can be paid, to a consultant via credit card if necessary. So I want to show you a couple other projects that some of our contractors have completed. A simple, full bath here, hallway bath that they have modernized. So very, very standard stuff that gets done with this loan. The HUD consultant, I think we touched upon what they will do. The most important thing up front is that scope of work. So they'll meet you at the property, they'll review the project, they'll put together that detail of the scope of work that we can use for the appraisal. The second part that they will perform is, once the loan closes, they will be the boots on the ground. They will be the person to come out. You and the contractor will call that consultant, say, hey, it looks like we've done a bunch of work. We know we've done a bunch of work. We need a draw. Come on out. That person will inspect that the work has been done, provide the percentage of completion, submit the paperwork for the draw that will be sent out to you and the contractor in a two-party check. Oh, here we are. So here's what we've been talking about, I think, a couple times, that if you wanted to do some renovation So I guess the question would be, would you want to have the house on the left or the one on the right? Well, good news is it's the same house. This one happened to be my personal client that did this renovation. These are pretty standard city lots. There was no room, obviously, you could see, to go sideways to build, and I think there were some restrictions to build back on the lot. So she simply said, well, let's tear the roof off and let's redo both floors. And here's the end result. So I want to let you know that with this, pretty much anything is possible in this renovation loan. One of my favorite projects that I've been involved in because it just came out amazing, and the project didn't take that long. This was like a 5 month project to basically build a brand new home. So anything's possible here. Here's a couple. Here's a couple simple, I guess, cleanup remodels. This house was a little bit dated. The had carpeting hasn't been around in many years. Here they needed to clean up the flooring and maybe some paint. And I don't even know, if windows or doors here, looks like sliding doors, needed to be redone. So, I mean, this is a very simple one that was included in here. They did that. Looks like that luxury vinyl plank. So very simple remodel that was included in our loan. Here's another one. Again, I mean, the kitchen on the left here probably looks like most of the stuff is intact. The cabinetry and obviously the appliances look pretty old here on the left, the fridge. But they went with a little modern look here. I don't know what kind of flooring was under that one on the left, but again, the style currently is that luxury vinyl gray plank. They did a nice job, cleaned it up, subway tile, backsplash with no backsplash. Same kitchen. They didn't have to get structural here. Pretty nice kitchen remodel. Made it their own. So beautiful job. This is what you can do on with this type of loan. Here's one of my favorites here is the kitchen on the left, probably not functional. It looks like to me, I don't know what happened here. It looks like the house had been vacant for a while and some wild animals had run through the kitchen and did a little damage to it. But gosh, I look at this is the same
That's like your
kitchen.
son's baseball team when they're hungry.
It looks like my son's baseball team when they're hungry went through the left. And now, I mean, they did just an amazing job on the right here in this open, country kitchen look, just that modern look. I just fantastic job at putting this together. But I guess I would look at my point here would be that most people looking at the left would have walked away from this home. It's probably in a great area where the one on the right had the vision and made it happen and gained a bunch of instant equity. So, you need to be open-minded here. We do have some tools with some resources that I think at some point, Juan, we're going to share. We will have some neat toys to do some project estimating to kind of take some of the fear of what it would cost to do some of these projects. So, because I know that's important for people. Here you go. Here's one of our contractors again did a little remodel here of a bathroom that it needed some updating. So they didn't have to rip apart much. They just cleaned it up and put all new tile bath fixtures. Here's another one on the outside that while it wasn't broken, the deck needed some cleaning up. It was weathered and some landscaping around it just beautified it. But they did a nice job of a little bit of cleanup to make that exterior nice outdoor space to use. Okay, so I think this is our fifth and final mistake here. Skipping a property because you need related living. So this is becoming a new popular thing. We talked a little bit about aging population, and you can, use the loan to fix up some properties for disability and stuff like that. But, sometimes you need related living for other purposes, other reasons. And there's some neat stuff you can do with this loan. So latest and greatest and hottest thing is what's called an ADU, accessory dwelling unit. Now, one caveat I would tell you is depending on what area you live in the country, everybody's different. There's municipality restrictions, I guess I would call them. This is huge now on the West Coast. In fact, before this meeting here, I took a call from someone that has a family member that is now on disability, and they would like to build him a 800 to 1,000 square foot ADU in the backyard so they can be taken care of and they could have their independence. So we can build additional units on your same property. So this is a little bit different than new construction. I want to caveat it that you are not getting another piece of land saying, I'd like to build this tiny home. Not what we're doing. This is literally on your property itself. Sometimes you're able to take advantage of garage space like this middle picture, beautiful garage that has some living space above it. Looks like the one on the left here and the one on the right. The left one is a very, very small unit, maybe for an adult child that wants some extra space. And the one on the right, maybe some in-law type arrangement. So we can do separate units or some attached right to the home. They can be built right on the back of the home as well. Okay. Okay. So I know we dropped a lot on you today. I've been doing this, the mortgage business for 30 years. I think I played around with renovation for more than 20 of it. So it's near and dear to my heart. I love helping out people with renovation. So let's just recap what we talked about today. Don't settle for a home that doesn't fit your needs just because somebody says you can't do the renovation loan. We can help. Because your project can be financed with the renovation loan. Renovation loans are not complicated. We do all the hard work. You just let us know what you want to do to the property. We are the experts on it. We will hold your hand through it. Renovations are for large or small projects. We already talked about, gave tons of great examples. You can do it on anything. If you need related living, right? Like that ADU, great program, or you can just fix up some space, basement space. We in Chicago have lots of basements. I know certain areas of the country that we lend in do not have basements, so that's not an option. Biggest mistakes. So again, we cannot stress that you continue to look for the perfect home versus just creating your perfect home. Big difference, right? We always take the approach of technically you will never find the perfect home unless you build it from the ground up. So if that is not an option, right? Or you buy new construction, that's not an option. This is your best solution. Find the area you want to live in and fix it to your needs, your standards, whatever your tastes are. So, do you feel confident in being able to purchase a home? You should now that you know a lot more than you did before you got to this webinar here. Again, here is the link for the sign up. But Juan, do you have it in the
chat? We
I
have
think it's a
the
little bit
link in
different.
the chat. That unfortunately that bit.ly link is not active. But
The one
in the
in the
chat,
chat is accurate, correct?
if that is accurate,
Okay.
if you're able to place that on your screen, our viewers can manually type that in. But again, I'll say it verbally: HTTPS colon slash slash renovation webinar dot lawyermortgageteam.com slash book dash 3117. That'll go to Pete's calendar. But if you look at the URL up at the top, you'll see the domain name there. But so we'll get this presentation updated with the correct link so that people can find it a little bit easier. If you are on a live call, then it would be a live link. But those of you that are listening now, just click on the link. You'll go to Pete's calendar and get a one-on-one appointment. There's no cost. There's no obligation. As a matter of fact, one thing that we want to reward action. Anybody who goes on Pete's link, schedules an appointment during this webinar, so immediately following this webinar, you will receive a $500 credit towards your lender fees. So we want to help you achieve your dream of home ownership, help you achieve that dream of having your own home, having your dream home the way you want it. And we do want to participate in that. So if you're on this webinar, schedule yourself on Pete's calendar through that calendar link, and you will receive a $500 credit towards your lender fees when you finance with our team. So that is throwing my hat in the ring as well, Pete.
Perfect. I appreciate that. So with that, I think this concludes the presentation. Again, it'll be recorded. Juan, you said the folks that were on that will get
We'll send you out the recording to this. And then the best thing that you can do is truly set up that one-on-one appointment with Pete. We're giving you a lot of information. We're turning you guys into renovation lending experts. That's not necessarily the goal, but if any of you want to join our loan team, you're ready to go. But we just want you to be able to buy and fix your house, or do a renovation refinance, and turn your home into your dream home. Fix it up, enjoy it now, and when you sell it in the future, you will have more equity. Maximize market conditions. With that said, Pete, I know we've had folks on here for quite a bit, so we'll go ahead and shut it down. And any questions, Pete's contact information is on the screen. Feel free to reach out to him directly. But the best way, like I said, is that calendar appointment link. But with that, thanks everybody for joining us, and we will be in touch.
Thanks, guys.